Friends, we know that wet roller sets can be extremely tricky, so this video is chock full of tips and tricks to help you achieve your best one yet. So keep watching because I'm going to walk you step by step in great detail of the process I've been following. Okay, now let's get into it. So when you start off, you're going to use your roller as your guide for how wide your parts are going to be. You want to focus on the inner side of the roller. Where you see that border on the roller, you want to part inside of that, because if you part from end to end of the roller, you're gonna have too much hair and it's gonna start to fall off. Now, once you've used that first roller to measure out the width of the hair so that it properly fits on the roller, you're then going to take that same width all the way through in the form of a mohawk, so it'll make it easier for you to place your rollers. I didn't do that because I've gotten to where I don't have to do that, but trust me, it'll make it so much easier if you start out with your hair parted when you're new to doing roller sets. Now what you see me doing is I'm using the diameter of the roller to measure out the section of hair. So you want to put the roller up against your hair, and then you want to part right behind the roller. So the section of hair should be no wider than the diameter of your roller. When you do it this way, you are making sure that you have equal parts of hair on each roller, so you don't have one roller that has more hair than the other. Also, by following these tips, you'll ensure that your drying time is balanced and equal throughout your whole head of hair. Alrighty, now this next section, it's really important because we're going to talk about roller placement and what that means and how to achieve different styles based off of your roller placement. I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know it all. I know very little, but the little that I know and that I've researched and learned, I want to share it with you guys. You know, just because the more you know, the better off you are. Okay, let's get back to it. So I want to show you this really quick. So there's 3 different roller placements. Like when you have your rectangle, you have on base, half base, and off base. So what that means is, if you comb or brush the hair up, right? And then you take your roller, and I'm not gonna try and make it all extra nice, I'm just gonna do it really quick. And you bring it down, you'll see that the roller lives within that triangle that you created, that you parted out. And this part right here, it's really tight and snug. When you place a roller on base, it creates more of a voluminous look, because you can see how it's like this. If you place it where the hair is down like this, or I don't know the angles, but let's say you don't go up so high and you place it like right here, it's not all the way on base. It's like halfway off the base. And then this part right here is called the stem. I'm remembering this from memory, so forgive me if I have any of the terminology or any of it wrong. But this is called the stem. When you place the roller more down, the further down you go, the less voluminous it will be, the less volume you'll have, and the less tension you'll have on the stem. I'm going to put a picture up here so that you can see what I'm talking about. But it'll be the this stem won't be as tight. And then the last one would be like if you come down here and then roll it, it's completely like off the base. It's not even anywhere near the part. See, it's completely off, and the stem is longer. It can work in your favor if you don't want a lot of volume, if you are depending on the style that you're going for, but you don't get the roots as tight. So it's my opinion, you want to make sure that when you roll it, you want to roll it to where this part right here is really tight towards the root for afro textured hair, because that way you'll get a smoother end result when you take your rollers out. I mean, if you're going to put heat in your hair and that sort of thing, it may not matter to you, but for those who want to minimize the heat, so I'm going to go up with mine and roll it like this so that it's on base. It's going to be more volume, but it's going to be tighter at the root, you see? And for those who want to, you know, minimal heat and that sort of thing, the straighter you get the roots and the overall hair, the least amount of heat you have to use if you're going to go in with heat afterwards. And then also, you don't have to use, if you're going to use heat, you don't have to use as high of heat to get your desired result. I hope all that makes sense. I hope it does. Anyways, now that we're done with all of that, of course, you know I'm starting out on freshly cleansed and conditioned hair. I went in with a leave-in. I used the color Fanatic leave-in. It's really nice and light, and I love it. You're going to see me also use a lot of water during this roller set. I also use the color Wow Extra Strength Dream Coat. I think it's more moisturizing than the other one. And then, of course, my heat protectant, the Tresemme Keratin. I also like the one in the black bottle, too. I use both. Whew, okay, we're finally to the portion where we're going to roller set this hair. So you can see I'm going in with my unbrush. Absolutely love this brush. So you'll see me use the full size as well as the mini traveler size unbrush. Now I'm sectioning my hair, and like I said, use the roller and use the diameter of the roller when you first start doing it so you can make sure that your sections are equal. That will really help with your drying time. But I have done a few, so I feel pretty confident that I can do it just by eyeballing, and you'll get there too. So after I spray in the Color Wow Dream Coat, I go in with my bounce curl brush. You can use a fine tooth comb, but I like this brush to help smooth out my hair. I then spray a bit of water on it. You're going to see me use a lot of water during this roller set, and I will be doing that in the future because what I have noticed is the tighter your hair is in terms of how coily and kinky and curly it is, the more water you want to use, because that water is going to help relax your strands, and it's going to allow you to get a smoother, sleeker roller set overall. So I highly recommend using a lot of water. Matter of fact, if you're going to use a setting lotion, which as you know, I did not, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. Make sure that if you feel like you are struggling, add more water before you add more setting lotion, because chances are the water will do a better job than adding more product. So if you've noticed, I haven't sped this video up at all because I want you to see in real time like how I set these rollers and how I use the roller pins and all of that good stuff. And I want you to pay close attention when I go to put this next roller in, how I don't start the roller placement at the very ends of the hair, like the very tips of the hair. I start more in the middle section of that section of hair when I'm placing that roller. By doing that, it helps me grip my hair to the roller and really get a nice firm hold. And then like as I roll it down, I'll kind of pull up a little bit slowly to take out some of the slack and create more tension. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to actually slow it down right here so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so take note of where I place that roller on that section of hair. Also, I want you to take notice of how I'm using my fingers to smooth the hair over the roller as I roll it. That's very important. And now how I'm starting to roll it slowly, but you'll see me kind of pull up and then roll it and then kind of pull up because I'm taking out any sort of slack or anything that I have going on. And now you see how nice and tight that is. Now I'm going to grab the first roller that's in front so that I keep it nice and tight and then go in with my roller pin. And once you get your second roller set, you can take that first pin out of the first roller and go the other direction with it so that you don't have that metal pin touching against your skin, especially when you're sitting under the dryer. And guess who shared that little gem? You guessed it, one of our Naturalista sisters up in the comments. I appreciate you, sis. Now I'm going to speed up the video, but I'm going to let you guys see how I place all these rollers just so that you can, you know, get all of it, because I know we's nosy and we want to know and see all the things. And speaking of knowing and hearing all the things, another little trick that I've learned is how many turns do you get on the roller? Meaning, how many times are you able to wrap your hair around that particular roller? So if the hair wraps around the roller once, you're going to get a bump. If it wraps around it 1.5 times, you're going to get a wave. If it wraps around it 2 or more times, you're going to get a curl. Isn't that interesting? I didn't even think about that, but it makes sense, right? And then another thing is you can set your rollers like in all different patterns. What you're seeing me do is a very basic roller set pattern, but there's so many different ways to set your hair. For instance, if you're someone who has hair that's on the thinner side, you can lay your hair in a brick layer pattern and it'll give you the illusion of having fuller, thicker hair. So I, encourage you to go and do some research and look if you're someone that's interested in roller sets. But there's just so many ways to do this that it really makes it fun. And I think it goes without saying, but it's really good to have a wide variety of sizes of your rollers because depending on the length of your hair and the style that you're trying to achieve, you'll want different sizes. I have large to very small just because my hair is cut in a bob, so the closer I get to the nape of my neck, the shorter my hair gets. So if I didn't have those smaller rollers, I wouldn't be able to complete my roller set. Also, the size of the roller makes a difference in how your hair comes out and the style that you achieve. So with these rollers, the pink are the next size down from the largest roller, which is white. I started out using the white rollers, but I noticed that with the length of my hair kind of looked more matronly with the white ones. And then when I used the pink ones, they just had a better look overall. It was weird. You would have thought it would have been the reverse. But I think on my next roller set, I'm going to go ahead and try the white ones again now that my hair's grown out a bit. Because what I'm thinking is I can probably get a smoother, sleeker look with using the bigger rollers and therefore not have to use as much heat, but have a roller set that comes out flatter instead of so voluminous. Don't get me wrong, I like the volume, but in my hair, it becomes a bit much unless I apply more direct heat afterwards, which I'm trying to minimize. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Another thing about the rollers is I get asked, where did I get the rollers? So if you ask me in the comments, I'm going to know you skip forward in this video, sis. So you can get them on eBay. It's the least expensive place that I have found so far. They're called Hourglass Rollers, and you can get the pins there too. So now I'm going to go in with my heat protectant. I'm going to put it on my hairnet to help keep my rollers in place as they dry. Sat underneath the hooded dryer for an hour and 15 minutes. This was perfect for me with the amount of water that I use because my curls were dry. Like I had no issues with that whatsoever. And I think that that's why my hair came out so well. So make sure that you are allowing your hair to fully dry, because if you're not, I don't think your results are going to be as good as you want. So if you've done all the work, be patient, sis, and sit underneath that dryer. And if you're air drying, which I believe is fine too, make sure they're fully dry before you take the rollers out. Now, I want y'all to peep out these curls because I was super excited once I took those rollers out at how shiny it looked, how smooth it looked, how straight it got, especially because I set it from the wet state. And it was so good that I almost didn't use my thermal brush. I mean, I was so close not to using it, but I'll discuss in just a moment why I ended up using it. But if you notice as I'm going through this process, I really don't use it a whole lot. Like there's areas of my hair that I don't even bother to do because it came out that good. So we are on to something and I'm excited about this. And as I'm editing this video, it's the next day and my hair's still wrapped. But once I take it down, I'm going to assess whether or not I need to add a little bit more heat into it because the heat supposedly locks in the style. But I want to see if that is really necessary or not. So stay tuned to the very end of the video and we will see what it's looking like and if there's anything we need to do in addition to what we did yesterday. So after I used the thermal brush, I went in with a little bit of the Olaplex number 7 oil and then I wrapped my hair and then I sat under the hooded dryer for about 5 minutes and then let it down and then boom, you're gonna see what it came out looking like and my assessment of everything. Can I just tell you, I was struggling with this cellophane wrap or saran wrap, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know. But I was struggle busting. Look how many layers I put on. It was because I was struggling and I couldn't get it tight. So I just kept adding more and more and more. I be having myself weak sometimes. Oh my gosh. Anyways, back to the hair. Oh my goodness. Are y'all ready for this hair? This is what she came out looking like. She is large and in charge, just let me tell you. She's bigger and more voluminous than my last roller set because I used less heat this time to just kind of set her in terms of the direct heat that I used, which was through the Amika thermal brush and the flat iron. I did not use this baby at all. I decided that I didn't feel like I needed it, so I didn't use it. And with the Amika thermal brush, I didn't really use that as heavy as I've used it in my previous roller sets. So voila, we have a more voluminous set. And then also the way that I set the rollers, which
if you didn't skip ahead, you know that there's different roller placements and what they yield versus not. And if you did skip ahead, why you skipping ahead, sis? Why you skipping ahead?
Anyways, if you know, you know. Anywho, so I love my hair. I think it came out amazing. However, I don't know if I want this much volume in it. I'm trying to avoid putting any additional heat in it. Not because I'm nervous to put heat in it, but I just want to be nosy and see what it does like this. So I'm going to wrap her tonight, and then hopefully in the morning she's a little bit more subdued and not as voluminous. And I wouldn't even mind if I lost some of the curls a bit, because I mean, we got plenty. We got plenty. What else did I want to say? Thank you for all the tips that you guys gave in my last video. I definitely utilized them. I used the Amika brush in some areas on the top and then underneath. So I definitely appreciate all the tips and tricks that you guys give. What do y'all think? I mean, I know that this looks great on camera, but in real life, I don't know if this is my look with it so big, because the bigger it gets, it starts to feel a little matronly for me. And the other thing is as I'm walking around, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Hey friends, so I'm back. It's day 2. This is what the hair is looking like. It's actually nighttime here, and I went out today and my hair did start to revert, so I did have to come home and use my thermal brush to add a little bit of heat in it. So it is true for me, I know now, that I do have to use a bit more heat than I did yesterday to really lock in my roller set. That may not hold true for you. You just have to see what that looks like. But I will tell you that it's not humid where I live at all. So I was really surprised by that. So there's definitely something to it for my hair. But even with having to go back in with my thermal brush, you can see that I still have quite a few curls. I didn't lose much at all. I would have actually preferred to lose a few. I ain't even gonna press you and act like I didn't, because look, like this is so tight. Look at that. And it just goes boink right back up. So I wasn't trying to straighten that out. I was just trying to set my style. I probably should have, you know, worked on that area just a little bit. But anywho, this is it. And I know we's nosy and we want to know and see all the things. So I wanted to show you. And that's it. So until the next one, bye.